Hello, I'm Kreminsky and this is Military Mind. Armed conflicts, defense and security, land, sea and air. We've got you covered. Now, overnight, Russian forces threw down heavy artillery fire targeting Ukrainian railways across 3 regions. The result was tragedy. 3 railway workers lost their lives in Donetsk, with another 4 injured and rushed to the hospital. In Kharkiv, 3 employees felt the impact too, and it doesn't stop there. Balaklia saw 10 folks injured, while Cherkasy got shook by a Russian rocket this morning, damaging railway infrastructure. Now, let's talk action, shall we? In the past 24 hours, Ukrainian defense forces went toe-to-toe with Russian invaders in a whopping 114 combat engagements. The enemy unleashed 4 missile attacks, 75 airstrikes, and a staggering 66 rocket salvos, hitting both Ukrainian troops and civilian areas hard. Russian forces are also tightening their grip northward of Avdiivka, potentially forcing the Ukrainian army to shake up their game plan. Now, speaking of shake-ups, in the Middle East, Hezbollah has stirred the pot up in the northern part of Israel. Sadly, 1 civilian perished in a Hezbollah anti-tank missile strike from southern Lebanon. And Gaza? It's been a hotbed of activity, with air raids and artillery shelling raining down on various neighborhoods, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. Recently, the strike drones company operators spotted a bunch of occupiers near Berdichev, just outside Avdiivka. The first one, dumb enough to think he could dodge a Ukrainian FPV, got taken out fairly quickly. The rest of those riskies ended up with a few new holes. Now that sounds cynical, but they shouldn't have been there in the first place, right? Shouldn't have invaded. Shout out to the 47th Separate Mechanized Brigade for holding the line and giving those Russian invaders a taste of their own medicine. So there you have it. Russia doesn't value human life, neither the lives of Ukrainians nor of its own soldiers. So, are we supposed to value the lives of Russian soldiers for Russia? I mean, this would be a bit convoluted there. Now, we're moving on to our next feature, and these invaders are being taken out by heavy drones from the 12th Azov Brigade near Terniv. The operators from the Azov Special Purpose Brigade are raining down payloads on enemy infantry along the Kreminsky front. And these guys aren't messing around, making sure the Russians know they just can't stroll into their territory without getting a taste of artillery fire. So it's all about sending a clear message, right? You mess with us, and you'll pay the price. The Owls from the 36th Separate Marine Brigade have made a major move. They took out a Russian checkpoint, bunker and shelter, and even knocked down a Russian antenna using FPV kamikaze tactics. All this went down in Kakhovka, in the Kherson region. It's another example of how Ukrainian troops are getting creative in taking the fight to the enemy's doorstep. There are a lot of videos of drones hitting Russian positions, equipment or personnel on our program. But every time we see it, it is absolutely amazing just how good Ukrainian soldiers are at this. Every hit seems to be right on target. So let's take a look at another example of how Ukrainians have mastered the art of using FPV drones to defend their territory. So not an FPV drone strictly, not in this case, because it has actually dropped ammunition on the enemy infantry. Still, it proves my point. Ukrainians are adept at making sure that drones, often just, civilian models, are absolutely deadly on the battlefield. Now, we're moving on to something even more interesting. New photos and footage are surfacing online which showcase increasingly innovative Russian attempts to hide from the enemy, and the enemy fire in particular. However, this time the attempt can be deemed exceptional, because the structure assembled by the Russians is unlike anything you've seen before, except once on this program. But let's not actually spoil the surprise. Just when we thought we'd seen it all, the tank crews from Buryatia have topped the charts for tank modernization, claimed one anonymous Ukrainian soldier. Why did he say that, and what did he see? Well, it's time for the big revelation. Kawabanga is the turtle tank. Hide your pizza. By the way, if they thought of auditioning for the Furiosa movie, I'm afraid they are a bit late for that. Now, moving on to our next story, an FPV explosion rocked the scene as a Ukrainian fighter laid down suppressing fire towards the enemy. The intensity of the engagement was palpable as both sides exchanged fire. It is moments like these that remind us of the bravery and determination of Ukrainian troops on the front lines.
Витя! Ранение? Я не знаю, подивись. Де? Жопа. Да. Да, кров. Куда надо? Куда? Куда в блиндаже цей залаз? Креста, блядь, креста. А де зірка? Де рація? Дай рацію. Ти перезайди в бліндаж. Скажи дрон камікадзе. Дрон камікадзе, 300. 300. Сиди на евакуації. Ні, сиди, заховайся. Як наше? Вітя, терпи. Там треба встановити, воно тече трошки. Там не сильно, воно тече. Там маленьке схович. Це не маленьке. Зірка підтону, евакуація потрібна. Сука. 300 може вийти сам. Посікло, блядь, спину, там, жопу.
Now that was literally one of those, whoa, that was close kind of moments. And the Ukrainian soldiers right now are going through perhaps the most difficult period in the entire war. However, this period is at an end. The aid package was passed. And now it's only a couple of days before more ammunition and more weapons arrive on the Ukrainian front lines. And then, hopefully, Ukrainian soldiers will be able to have their revenge. And with this, we're ending this episode of Military Minds. Stay tuned for more latest news and features here on TVP World. I'm Kreminsky. Bye for now.